كويس. مش فايدة فيكم. ده انت اصلا اللي جاي بيها، وانا حاولت حاجة. مش فايدة فيكم. يا هلا. الماتش ما تتحركش من مكانك في اي كان السبب، ولو في اي مصيبه ما تقوليش عليها، مالكش دعوه بحاجه.
Hello and welcome to the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium in Doha, Qatar. You joined us just in time for the two teams' national anthem. It's Qatar at home to China for the culmination of match day 3 in Group 1. Both teams looking to close on Australia, of course, who topped this group on 7 points after their victory over Iraq yesterday. So we take a look at the teams. And the hosts, well, their hero from the 2-0 win over Iraq, Fabio Cesar, has dropped to the bench, while another naturalised Brazilian, Emerson, has been banned. So Sebastian Soria carries the goal-scoring burden. He has 6 goals in Qatar's 5 games since the 3-0 loss to the Socceroos back in February. There's the Chinese squad lining up as well, and 4 changes to the team which drew with Australia, including a change in goal with Zhong Lei replaced by Song Zhenyu. Wang Zhao, Zhang Yaokun and Zhao Zhanbo are the other new faces in the starting 11. Sydney FC coach John Cosmina is alongside. What would Pim Verbeek be hoping to get out of these 2 games between Qatar and China?
Oh, look, I think, Brenton, the best thing for Australia would be draws in both accounts. You know, Qatar played exceptionally well, I felt, against Iraq. They thoroughly deserved their 2-0 victory just over a couple of months ago. We wouldn't want to see them get 3 points because we actually have to play them in 2 weeks' time. And so I think Verbeek will be very happy with 1 point for either side from this, rather than one of them picking up the 3.
Our referee is from Syria tonight, Muhsen Basma, and another capacity crowd of 18,000 inside this boutique stadium, if you like, the home of the famous Al Saad club, a club coached formerly by this man, Jorge Fossati, who was in charge of Uruguay, of course, back in 2005 when the Socceroos advanced to the last World Cup. There's Talal Al-Balushi, a mainstay in midfield for Qatar, and China. They're dedicating their performances to the victims of the Sichuan earthquake. 70,000 lives lost in that natural disaster, and they are playing for those victims here tonight. Look at the bench for Qatar. There is Fabio Cesar cooling his heels, a surprise there. And as I mentioned, Emerson, who also terrorised Iraq here in the last match day, he's serving a ban. Real scandal, if you like, over his naturalisation process. So he could be out for a few games yet.
حراس المرمى سونغ زين، خط الظهر وانغ شاو، لي وي فينغ، زهانغ ياكم، سونغ شيانغ، خط الوسط سانجي هاي، زو هاي بن، شياو زامبو، في الامام بينغهان وزهيزينج الى جانب زوتينج كلاعب هام جدا في منطقه خط الوسط ويكمل.
Quite a few Chinese expats
حكم اللقاء والحكم العربي السوري
are in attendance tonight as their team in the red kit China get us underway, attacking the goal to the left of screen. Extremely hot conditions here today. It was 44 degrees, the overnight minimum of 31 expected, and we'll look to see how the visitors cope with that.
I think, Brenton, that's the important thing that we need to look at from the Chinese perspective, is just how they travel. Surprisingly lacklustre, I think, against us back on the 26th of March for long periods of time. Maybe they'll, realising a little bit of desperation is needed. We'll have to see how they go away from home in fairly difficult conditions. Bearing in mind, of course, that we have to play there within 14 days, and our Aussie boys are going to be subjected to the similar conditions, if not worse.
They get their first taste of it this weekend against Iraq in the return fixture in the UAE. And Shu Ting losing out in that challenge. We'll be looking to bomb down the right for China. Bassam Rishk winning out for Qatar in midfield. Long ball aimed towards Syria. Li Wei Fung can only clear as far as Hussein Yasser, who look to fire it back in towards Syria. Good skill too from Hussein Yasser. The delivery left a little bit to be desired though. But they'll be the two men Qatar will look to tonight, Hussein Yasser and Sebastian Syria. والأردن كانت الخسارة ونتمنى مكسب أكيد لكل الفرق العربية لتتأهل إن شاء الله فرق عربية إلى كأس العالم 2010 هناك في جنوب أفريقيا. رمي التماس بدأ يضغط المنتخب القطري ويحاول يوجد المنتخب الصيني في نص ملعبه اللي معاه الكرة دلوقتي رقم 17 باللاعب. Shooting just popping up on the left now.
داليان الصيني واحد من الأندية والفرق اللي عرفناها. هنا بلال محمد بيضغط والنهارده التشكيلة لما تشوفها من قبل الماتش ما يبدأ تقول الله يعني ليه فوساتي نازل بنزعة دفاعية.
Sun Ji-hai with the free kick towards Hang Peng. Mohamed Saka happy to watch it, but he's the aerial threat for China. Nice delivery too from Sun Ji-hai, who looks to be on his way out of Manchester City, following Sven-Göran Eriksson, who officially departed today from the Premier League club. Sun Ji-hai didn't play much of a part in the last campaign, although he did start their final game of the season, that 8-1 hammering at the hands of Middlesbrough, so not a good way for him to go out, although he is hoping to get another contract in either the Premier League or the Championship in England. He likes his time over there. Here's Ibrahim Majed in at left back tonight. First time we've seen him from the start in this group. Wang Zhao just over physical there on Talal Al-Balushi. A chance to swing in a free kick now for Hussein Yasser. Abdullah Kony among the targets. ولكن يطلع رقم 2 وانغ شاو لاعب نادي شانسون الصيني الى رمي التماس. الخط الامامي فقط في رقم 9 من الصين هو المتقدم بينغهان لاعب الثاني وفي النهايه ايضا الى ضربه ركنيه هذه المره. الى ضربه ركنيه. حسين ياسر. Shu Ting looks to have conceded the corner. Apologies for the audio coming through at the moment. We are trying to clean that up. The first corner of the game. Can Hussein Yasser deliver with more aplomb this time? Bassam Rishk putting some pressure on the goalkeeper. And a header one. by Syria.
Syria is a real live wire for me. He was the guy that really got the ball rolling for Qatar against Iraq a couple of months ago, and I think it'd be good for obviously the Aussies to get a good look at him a little bit closer to their match in a fortnight's time. But Qatar, if you remember, got off to a great start, scoring virtually from the kickoff against Iraq. I think they'll find the Chinese a little bit more difficult. They seem fairly composed, the Chinese, really. They're a big side as well that can compete physically, I think. In stages during against the Iraqi match a couple of months ago, Qatar did outmuscle them, but they won't get or be able to do that to the same effect with the Chinese.
Ibrahim Majid attempting to release Hussein Yasser. He applauds the intent. Xiao Zhanbo conceding the free kick. Stop-start affair at the moment. There's a chance for Kalfan Ibrahim, a diminutive figure in midfield, former Asian Player of the Year, of course, in 2006. Hussein Yasser has stayed down. Won't be the first time we say that tonight. He doesn't mind rolling around for a while. Played his club football in Portugal in the season just gone with Sporting Braga and Boa Vista, but has just made the move to Al Ahly in Egypt, which will please his father, a former Egyptian international. Just got sat on by Zhao Haibin. Coney won the header, but tug on the shirt spotted against Han Peng.
The smallest of tugs, though, Brett, and looking at the way this game's transpired in the first 7.5 minutes, the amount of free kicks that have been awarded, I think it's predicting a long night ahead, I believe.
Li Wei Feng's header helped on. Abdullah Kony wearing the captain's armband tonight. We saw Saad Al Shamri lead Qatar out at the Telstra Dome, but he was dragged at half-time and has been on the bench since. Here's Al Balushi. Here's Sun Jiang joining in from the back. And Sun Jihai will be content to take the corner. That off Bilal Mohammed. On match day 1, China scored from a corner against Iraq as they claimed a 1-1 draw in the Middle East. It was Zheng Ji with the header on that occasion. Zhao Zhanbo has come across to take the corner. Right in front of the Chinese fans. Delivery to the back post. And again, a whistle against Han Peng.
I almost thought he was speaking English, trying to lip read him then.
I think he shares your sentiment about the whistle-happy start from the referee from Syria, though.
They haven't had too many go in their favour, the Chinese, so far, and it could be a bit frustrating for them as the game goes on, because they need the points, to be honest. They obviously want to qualify second, and a good or a 3-point take here for them would be perfect.
Nice switch of play from Rishk towards Kalfan Ibrahim. Back to Rishk, and Kalfan Ibrahim just working the 1-2s. Patient build up. Here's Bilal Mohammed. China looking to break. Here's Xu Ting taking on Majed. He just got a foot in. And the flag went up. It's nice skill by Majed. The assistant saying the ball went out of play though. Shooting again. Has to fire one in towards Han Peng. Again, not great delivery. Zhang Yao Kun this time. Jorge Fossati at pains to say yesterday that no one's certain of qualifying, even though Australia are seemingly in control of the group on 7 points. You really need to get to that 10-point safety barrier before you can say you're through to the next stage of World Cup qualifying. Hussein Yasser has just switched sides for the time being. Clear foul by Sun Xiang. Of course, it's from these positions where we're used to seeing Fabio Cesar swing in the free kicks with his cultured left foot, but he's on the bench. Sun Xiang, who became the first Chinese player to play in the UEFA Champions League when he was at PSV Eindhoven. Swung in with the left again. Kalfan Ibrahim retreats. Good closing by the Chinese. Wasn't the smartest return ball by Zhao Haibin. Should have known his teammate was in an offside position.
I think his teammate should have known he was in an offside position as well. He didn't have a look across the line there. A little bit of patience when you win the ball back in the middle of the field, because the Qataris are pressed up fairly high then, and it was a good opportunity to get in behind them just by being prepared to keep the ball just that little bit longer and not force it. Both teams seem content to get the numbers behind the ball, and that could be a reflection on the conditions there this evening.
Shooting's header. And Jorge Fossati, when the Q-League season wrapped up a couple of weeks ago, was alarmed at the difference in fitness depending on which club sides the players had come from. So he sent all the players up to the Aspire Sports facility, rather like the Australian Institute of Sport, and put them through their paces there in high pressurised booths to get them all at the same level. So he's happy with their fitness now as they head into their Super June. 4 qualifiers in 3 weeks. Zheng Ji on the turn. Here's Han Peng, nicely worked. Sun Ji Hai just wide.
Great end of passing movement there between the Chinese players, and a very thoughtful finish here from Sun Ji Hai. Unlucky not to go in. Had that been on target, I think the keeper, as much as he may have seen it, would have been deceived by the pace of it. That came through between legs, and a good, most positive move of the game so far.
Only got 1 goal to his credit at international level, Sun Ji Hai. Back in 2004 in a World Cup qualifier against Malaysia. It would have been a real collector's item for the Manchester City midfielder. Lucky to be playing, of course, after that two-footed lunge on Luke Wilkshire back in March. Didn't even get a yellow card when most observers thought it should have been a straight red. Hussein Yasser did well to win the header. Saria just can't get on the end of it. It's that neat passing movement. We're pretty confident, the goalkeeper, but I'm with you. If it was on target, I fancy he gets beaten.
I think most keepers at this level wouldn't take a risk in letting something like that go unless they, unless they had a lot of foresight and really believed that it was going wide of the post. But I do tend to think he'd almost given it up for lost. Wishful thinking.
Sun Ji-hai switches it up to Xiao Zhanbo. Here's Sun Jiang looking for Han Peng again.
It's a good spell of pressure for the Chinese here at the moment.
Khalfan Ibrahim might be away here. A real danger, a real live wire. Trying to get in behind Li Wei-fung. The veteran of more than 100 caps went to ground too easily for the referee's liking.
That's a tough decision. Very tough decision. Li Wei-fung, I think, defended exceptionally well in this instance, and I think it probably wasn't warranted, the free kick, definitely. He did get a little nudge with the knee from behind, and ball wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't like he was trying to gain any advantage either.
I'll be most upset if it leads to a goal. Here's Saria's header. Zhang Yao Kun won the free kick, and Sun Ji-hai perhaps pointing out the free kick count at the moment.
Great leap from Saria.
Not great defending by Li Wei-fung either, having the hand up there. First foul against Qatar. It's that foul count that Sun Ji-hai was pointing out to the Syrian official. Jorge Fossati has fond memories of this stadium. He was in charge of Al Sadd before taking over the national team. They won the treble here just last year. Nice ball from Zhao Haibin. Space in behind the Qatari back four. Bilal Mohammed let it run. Good to see Bilal Mohammed back. He missed last year's Asian Cup through injury. He was the hero of Qatar back in December of 2006 when they won the gold medal at the Asian Games, scored the winner against Iraq in the final. Strong challenge. The studs were up from Zhao Haibin. I saw a few studs up challenges against the Socceroos. What do you make of that one?
Oh, look, I don't think it was as bad as the one that Zhangji put in against Luke Wilkshire, but look, in those situations when a player goes to ground, it's very difficult not to get your studs involved in the tackle. It all comes down to the intent, and in a lot of cases it's pretty much self-defense as well, but there's a simple rule: don't go to ground if you don't get hurt.
Sun Jiang had to keep that one in. Li Wei-feng there to lend assistance. Plenty of classy touches from Zhao Haibin. Zheng Shi just letting him down there. Hussein Yasser switching it up to Khalfan Ibrahim. Sun Ji Hai said, I got a little flick off the little man. Asked the assistant referee for the throw, and his wish was granted. Li Wei-feng taking the opportunity to get some fluids in. Were expecting hot temperatures here in Qatar in June, but even for them it's a heat wave. 44 degrees today, 45 tomorrow. Talal Al-Balushi is used to it. It's a poor ball by Majed, and China can try and hit on the counter again. Sun Ji Hai has Sun Jiang overlapping. Again, classy work from Zhao Haibin under pressure in midfield. Here he is on the ball again. Plays the 1-2 with his opponent. The classiest clearance from Song Zhenyu. Mesad Al-Hamad getting forward for the first time. Here's Saria. Sun Ji Hai must have made the call there. Saria making a mental note about the gamesmanship from the Manchester City man. Aimless ball from Li Wei-feng. And midway through the first half, there's a few distressed faces on the Chinese already. No goals here in Doha.
There hasn't been enough attempts on target to even warrant a goal, to be perfectly honest. Chinese, I think, have come the closest, obviously, but it's going to be, this one's going to come right down to the wire, I think, looking at the way the teams have set themselves out to play.
Zhao Zhanbo to Li Wei-feng. China content to hold possession. Zhao Zhanbo looking for the killer ball towards Han Peng.
And it's the killer balls that always cause you problems, because 9 times out of 10 they don't kill anybody except your own teammates, because then you have to work to get possession back.
Good strong work from Sebastian Saria. Khalfan Ibrahim. There's Bilal Mohammed joining in. Tries the long range strike, which had a little bit of swerve on it, but not really the option, you wouldn't think. The strength of the naturalised Uruguayan, Syria.
Was it Emerson was offside?
You'd think he's offside. Syria was stopped in his tracks anyway.
And was it Emerson, Brenton, that was the striking partner of Syria in Qatar's last outing that we call?
The Brazilian, yeah.
And Cesar's definitely missing him tonight, because in that occasion he was able to drop back in the midfield and build up a lot of attacks from behind, and Emerson did a lot of spade work up front. Cesar's, as much as he works hard and he's honest, he's not the same sort of player when he has to lead from the front. He's far better when he can get back in the midfield and come in from there. And Qatar have lost a bit of punch because of that suspension to Emerson.
As we pointed out last time, Emerson actually played for the Brazilian under-20 side, and then he went on to play, of course, for Qatar and was a star last time out, but perhaps word finally filtered through to the AFC and FIFA that he had played for Brazil at under-20 level, and they've made some inquiries and they've banned him indefinitely, so we'll wait and see whether he's back in time for when Pim Verbeek and the Socceroos come calling.
Although you've got to wonder if the points that Qatar earned against Iraq could actually be valid for playing an illegally registered player. Any other league in the world, you don't get the points.
We'll wait and see. I'm sure Iraq will be making those inquiries, and would be the ultimate shake-up in Group 1, but that's a long way off. There hasn't been a lot said. It's tough to find out exactly what the ruling was or what's been going on. It's all being kept a bit hush-hush, so we'll wait and see what comes of it.
Certainly it would make the clash between, or the return leg between Iraq and Australia very interesting this weekend, because it would simply mean that the Qatar and Iraq would swap positions on the table.
Halfan Ibrahim, haven't really seen him go forward. He's been going backwards first. Links with Rish this time. Hussein Yasser trying to prompt things. Nice ball too to Mesad Al-Hamad. Squeezes the ball past Sunji Hai and wins the corner. Sun Jiang sucking in the big ones as well. Good delivery too. Not cleared the first time, but Li Wei Fung eventually does. Would have been coming back from an offside position anyway. Bilal Mohammed. Suspicion of handball against Syria.
I think that ball came to him too quickly for him to do anything else. It's not like he could have avoided the situation. Great delivery though, and as we saw between the Iraqis in Australia yesterday, delivery is of paramount importance. They cause the Aussies a lot of problems with their in-swinging corners.
Lost in translation for Song Zhenyu, who picks up a yellow card inside half an hour for time wasting. He said he was waiting for the whistle to be blown so he could take the free kick.
I don't know if you could hear the whistle that didn't going on in the background there.
Nipping at the heels of Wessam Rishk. Hussein Yasser just too much on it for Al Balushi. it's one of the more densely populated parts of the stadium. A disappointing crowd when you've only got a capacity of 18,000. You'd think they'd go close to filling it up for World Cup qualifiers. And on that matter, terrific crowd last night at Suncorp. You were up there.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Suncorp for me is probably the best stadium in Australia to watch football out of, excluding the Sydney Football Stadium, of course. It doesn't matter what the size of the crowd is there, it's always a fantastic venue. But no, it's when Suncorp's got numbers there, it is a great arena. And you know, the first World Cup qualifier in Brisbane since 1992, I believe, and the fans really turned out and supported the boys. Exciting for the crowd as well. I mean, as much as it was end-to-end action, you know, Australia obviously a bit disappointed about the way we defended some situations in the game, but the fact is we got 3 points at the end. A lot of Aussie fans went home happy.
Which fans will go home happy tonight here in Doha? Han Peng tried to head it down into the path of Zheng Ji, and he won the free kick though. And here's a chance for one of China's set-piece specialists to try and test Sake in the Qatari goal. Zhao Zhanbo, the number 7, is there, as is Sun Jiang. Both players have 3 international goals to their credit. Only 3 or 4 in the wall. Sun Jiang still managed to pick out one of them. Zhao Haibin comes again. Kony Amaral's header. The game being played at walking pace at the moment.
I notice the conditions have gotten to the Chinese fairly quickly. They were tending to pressurise a little bit more frequently earlier in the game, but it's also a tactical ploy as well. You go through stages in a game where you do try and slow your work rate down because you just need a breather. And you know, obviously this far out from, well, not this close to half time, I should say, with only 15 minutes to go, you don't want to be expending too much energy. You want to stay compact.
Easy decision there as Bilal Mohammed got forward. Jorge Versati looking like the more frustrated boss with this 0-0 scoreline. Chu Ting allowed to bring it down, but then pounced upon. Yet another foul against the Chinese. 12 now. And the warnings continue. And the Syrian referee has already booked the goalkeeper for time wasting. And he tells Li Weifeng that that's enough. Any more fouls, any more cheap ones, and there'll be some more yellow cards shown.
I don't know if Li Weifeng was actually complaining about how easily fouls were awarded though.
Free header for Kony. Slack marking there by the Chinese.
It's always going to be a difficult header for Kony though. He's coming back away from the goal and having to help that ball on the turn as well, so it was never really going to get a lot of power. Direction was of the utmost importance, and he didn't have that, so really a half chance at best.
Still waiting for Kalfan Ibrahim to explode into this one. Mesad Al-Hamad is onside. Tried to flick it in towards the penalty spot, looking for Saria. Comfortably cleared in the end. Here's Xu Ting. He'll be full of running. Clearance from Marconi Amaral, who has been in the headgear on the first 2 match days. Dispense with the headgear tonight, though. Zheng Xi and Xu Ting try and work the 1-2. Well defended by Majed. Now Kalfan Ibrahim on the ball. Saria leaves it for him. Risk trying to pick out Hussein Yasser. Tracks it down in time. What tricks he got here? Zhang Yao Kun has seen it all before. He hasn't seen refereeing decisions like this, apparently.
I think it was a fair decision, to be honest. He got the shoulder into the back of the Iraqi player. Patience probably would have been more warranted there, and he was facing away from goal, going towards the touchline. There was no need to give a foul away.
Looked like Majid wanted to take the free kick, but Hussein Yasser it is who'll deliver. Flick on at the near post. There's a great chance for Qatar to open the scoring there. It was Marconi Amaral.
Great ball from Yasser, and a perfectly timed run from Amaral. That once again needed a very deft flick, or a deft touch, I should say, to get that one on the target, whether it was intended for goals or a flick to the back post for Saria. But a change in tactics there. The last few balls, the Qataris have actually knocked to Saria at the back post, trying to catch the Chinese napping.
Kalfan Ibrahim. Hussein Yasser wanted it slid in behind. Here's Rishk. Confined spaces for Saria.
The numbers the Chinese have in the danger area of the park, just around the edge of the penalty area and a few metres forward. There's no way that the Qataris are going to find it easy to get anybody into good areas there. Need to get the ball around the back to the wider parts of the front third. But then you need numbers in the box to attack the crosses that eventually come in as well.
Saw Fabio Zar being asked to warm up. Might be an early introduction for the star man from match day 2. Shooting. Can't get past Marconi Amaral. There is Fabio Cesar. Set up that goal in the opening minute and then added the second himself against Qatar.
You got to wonder why he was on the bench though in the first place. It's as it is for the Chinese, an important match for the Qataris. It's one of their, well, they've only got one more home game left after this, is that from memory, and you need to get your points at home. Australia have got 4 points in their 2 home matches.
Sun Jihai and Sun Jiang getting their wires crossed there. Jorge Fossati, a former goalkeeper, as is Radomir Dukovic, who is sitting on the sidelines in the Chinese dugout. Of course, their head coach is Vladimir Petrovic, but Dukovic, who's in charge of the Olympic team, is also there in the dugout. The Serbian Brains Trust looking to guide China to the World Cup finals in 2010. Here's Hussein Yasser. Didn't elect to take it first time. Deflection. Another corner for Qatar. It was a great chance out of nothing, really.
China's got caught ball watching. Yeah, their right back probably could have had a little bit more awareness, but they scrambled well there. Made sure that Yasser couldn't get the shot on target.
Hussein Yasser drives it low. El Belushi to no one in particular. Song Zhenyu again showing his willingness to milk the clock.
He doesn't want to be too willing given the yellow card he's already received, and looking at the trigger happiness of the referee, he'd need to keep a close eye on his count in the latter stages of the game.
Referee was trying to play advantage there to Han Peng, who just couldn't get back to his feet quick enough, so free kick given against Coney. Chinese fans behind this goal, baying for a goal. Sun Jihai over the free kick. Will he go direct or just try and flight one in towards Li Wei-Feng? It was getting forward.
Always a very difficult ball to hit on an angle across the goals like that. And to be honest, I don't know what his teammate was going to do with a header from the edge of the 18-yard box.
And you see some good set pieces that have been worked out on the training ground, and some pretty ordinary ones as well. Yes, Zhao Zhanbo to Shu Ting. Zhao Zhanbo making room for the cross. Feng Zhi just couldn't bring it down. Here he is again, though, the captain. Worked it well. Marconi Amaral is defending. Has been of the highest order so far in this first half. In towards Han Peng. Falls for Sun Jihai. The whistle had gone. He's closing in on goal, though.
I'm not too sure what that was for. I think Coney was a Qatari that won the header, but that's not a free kick. It's the Chinese players entitled to at least compete for the ball, and he never had his arms up. Bodies are always going to clash with two players jumping for the ball. But a great effort from the Chinese player hitting it on the volley first time. They're once again not far off the mark. It's getting to that stage of the game where I think the Chinese players would be happy for someone to be injured. They've definitely lost a little bit of tempo in this last 15 minutes.
Copped a little backhander there, Li Wei-Feng. Veteran of more than 100 caps now. Was the captain of China before disciplinary problems got the better of him, and he was stripped of the captaincy and lost his spot in the squad as well after 6 red cards for his club side, Shanghai Shenhua, in the space of 14 months. He's taken that out of his game, and he's vice-captain now behind Zheng Ji. And just 1 minute of stoppage time to be played at the end of the first half. Obviously China will be the happier side going in at 0-0, but I reckon Qatar will be looking at a few of the Chinese faces and thinking will be a big chance in the last 15 or 20 minutes here tonight.
Yeah, as I said earlier, the Chinese have really lost that spring that they had in their step in the first 30 minutes of this match, and you got to wonder if it's the conditions or they just realised that it was too hot to run around and work at that kind of tempo for 90 minutes. They're still defending quite well, and they show a lot of urgency when the ball does get played in behind them. So consequently the Qataris aren't really causing them a lot of problems by getting in behind, but it's another 45 to go now, and it's going to be interesting to see. Sometimes when you're playing games like this, it's half-time's the worst thing you can have, because it does upset your rhythm. You sit down and you come out and have to start all over again.
Well, at half-time here in Doha, it's Qatar 0, China 0. We'll go to a break now and be back with the second half a little later on. Welcome back to Doha on match day 3, the FIFA 2010 World Cup qualifier between Qatar and China. They've really slogged it out in 44-degree heat here in Doha, and it's scoreless at half-time. Take a look at the highlights from that first half. Qatar looking for that man, Sebastian Sarria, always a threat. The header in the 5th minute. Good pressure put on the naturalised Uruguayan though. Song Zhenyu could afford to watch it fly harmlessly wide. China had their moments, and some nice passing here. Han Peng involved, Zhao Haibin as well, and Sun Jihai was unmarked. He's had his moments, Sun Jihai getting forward.
An unlucky attempt by the Chinese there. Good build-up, patient.
That was ambitious from Bilal Mohammed.
That's an understatement. I actually wonder, looking at it even now, if he wanted to try and swing that with a little bit of tail on it for the Qatari player attacking the ball in behind the defence there.
He's looking maybe for any sort of deflection. That was the corner which came too quickly in the end for Sarria. Little flick off Li Weifeng, and handball wasn't given against Sarria. China would have been debating had it fallen for him, and he stuck it away, but no such problems. And the free header for Abdullah Koni, who would have to do very well to get it on target from there with any great power. There's that moment where you just got to get the header on target, and you're going to beat the goalkeeper, you'd think, unless it's straight at him.
It's always difficult when you're attacking a ball like that. The idea is to just get your head in front of the opponent and try and help it on. You know, sometimes they head towards goal, and because of the pace they come in and it causes problems, and other times they head across, you flick them on across the goal.
And this was arguably the best chance. Hussein Yasser, the long ball just fell into his path. He cut inside and just couldn't get the shot away with any great power, and deflection away for the corner as well. But Hussein Yasser, Sebastian Sarria, we'd expect those players to come into the game more in the second half. As we take a look at the halftime stats, Qatar just shading possession. There have been 4 corners in the game. They've had 3 of them, the hosts. 2 offsides apiece, while the foul count has caused the ire, or raised the ire of the Chinese. 14 against them. The yellow card is against the goalkeeper for time wasting. There have been 8 shots in all, 16 balls into the penalty area, but no shots on target, and that's why it's 0-0 at the top. Of course, yesterday Australia went to the top of the group on 7 points, but they led a charmed life. Ahmad Mohammed striking the crossbar early. You were up there at Suncorp. What a game it was.
Yeah, it's if you look here, it was, I think, had that ball been lower and on target, Dave Carney or Jason Chelina would have been able to either help it on probably over the bar with their head. But a great piece of interplay between Scotty McDonald and Mark Bresciano here, and maybe shot a little bit lower might have got a better outcome for the Aussies.
A lot of people suggesting that might have been Harry Kewell's best ever game for Australia. Where do you stand on that one?
No, I think Harry Kewell's best ever game was in the qualifying match against Uruguay to get us to the World Cup back in 2005.
When he came off the bench, of course, but he was a live wire from the get-go last night. That header punched away by Noor Sabri. Mark Schwarzer had to be at his best on a number of occasions, saving with all parts of the body last night to keep yet another clean sheet for Australia under Pim Verbeek. But they were under all sorts of pressure. Jade North losing Yunus Mahmood, who couldn't believe he didn't get that shot on target.
You have a look here, though. The ball's actually behind him, and it's always going to be a very difficult header to beat a keeper of the quality of Schwarzer from there.
Sure, he's thinking maybe he should have brought it down, but here was the moment. Straight after half-time, Harry Kewell ghosting towards the penalty spot and heading home Brett Emerton's cross.
Great ball in from Brett Emerton. Nice and early. It's an angle that's always difficult to defend against, and the Iraqis caught ball watching there. Harry just got in front of his man, and when he's on the move and he jumps early and attacks the ball like that, there's not much you can do to stop it when it's on target. Another great ball in from Luke Wilkshire, and I think Harry actually expected the keeper to commit himself, but he did a Mark Schwarzer against us, and he stayed composed and stayed up, and forced Harry into making a simple, or causing a simple, bringing about a simple save.
Hawa Mullah Mohammed had that terrific one-on-one chance against Schwarzer, but he came up big again. The Australian goalkeeper, of course, made that penalty save against China on match day 2. How the group could have looked oh so different had Mark Schwarzer not been between the sticks for Australia. Bruce Jitte impressed when he came on at the death, but it finished 1-0 to Australia. Brett Holman finding the side netting here after the cross deflected from Jitte. And of course, that leaves Australia firmly in control of Group 1, as Pim Verbeek would have hoped after taking over the reins for Australia. They're on top with a goal difference in the positive of +4, 7 points. Qatar and China, of course, one of them or both of them will move a little bit closer towards Australia. They can't get on top of the group, though. Australia will be on top. And coming up this weekend, Iraq hosting Australia, this time in neutral Dubai. That's on Sunday, June 8, in the early hours of the morning, 1:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 3. Qatar against Australia, Sunday, June 15, a week later at this very stadium. That's from 1:30 a.m. early in the morning again. There's going to be some pubs making some money in the coming weeks. And Australia against China to round out this group stage at ANZ Stadium in Sydney. Another packed house expected there on Sunday, June 22. You can watch it on Fox Sports from 5 p.m. Eastern. Iraq against Qatar. We keep an eye on all the other games in the group, of course, and that one in Dubai to round out this group. Monday, June 23, kick-off at 2 a.m. Eastern. That's on Fox Sports 2. We'll be back with the second half between Qatar and China. Surely some goals, or some goal threats at least. It's coming up after the break. Welcome back to Doha as we await the start of the second half here between Qatar and China. Culmination of match day 3 in Group 1 after Australia beat Iraq 1-0 yesterday in Brisbane to take control of the group, of course, but you still need to get to the safety barrier of 10 points. So Australia still a win shy of that with 3 games remaining for them in the group. Confirmation of that half-time score, goalless. Frustration for the Qataris in the first half, but they're more used to the stifling conditions here in Doha. It's dropped below 40 degrees, but it was 44 degrees earlier in the day. And the Chinese were visibly struggling at times in that first half, and we wait to see how they play out the 90 minutes. Mohamed Sakir and Marconi Amaral deep in conversation. And the fans who had to wait just less than a minute for the opening goal against Iraq have been starved of success so far, but Sebastian Soria, when he's on the field, goals you'd think are not too far away. These two teams have faced off 5 times before in World Cup qualifiers, with Qatar winning 2, China just 1, while there have been 2 draws. So they've got a bit of a history at World Cup level, dating back to Singapore in 1989 when Qatar won 2-1. But will the goals flow in this second half? Our Syrian referee just waiting for the Chinese to get into position.
Chinese employing frustrating tactics here. I think they've taken their time coming out, and yeah, even taking their time possibly trying to unsettle the Qataris. As I said before the break, sometimes when you're in conditions like this, you don't want the half-time break. You get the comfort of the dressing room and the wet towels and the ice bucket, and it makes it more difficult to come out and start all over again.
But Qatar in the white strip get us underway. Long ball pumped forward to Soria, breaks immediately. Kalfan Ibrahim with a terrific chance. Inside 15 seconds at the start of the second half.
You really want to get opportunities like that on target. He wasn't under any pressure from the Chinese. Maybe it was a bit lucky in terms of how the opportunity was created in the first place, but you know, you would expect at this level that you would be able to get a shot on target at a crucial stage of the game just after half time. It would have been a psychological killer for the Chinese.
And the youngster's not afraid to score for his country. Scored twice on his debut against Bangladesh in Chittagong. And I agree with you, nothing more frustrating than seeing professional footballers unable to keep those shots on target. Here he's exchanging passes with Mesad Al-Hamad and putting his teammate under pressure. Zhang Yao Kun unable to link with Zhao Zhambo. Little nudge where Zhao Zhambo spotted. Rish coming across to take the free kick. The aerial presence of Sebastian Soria waiting for it. Rish delivery is a good one. Flick on from Coney. Saw Soria ghosting in at the back post. It was all set up, just needed a slight flick on from the captain.
A lot of cases in a situation like that, you're probably, as a player, an attacking player, better off getting across the opponent, but then not actually making contact with the ball. And duck your head at the last minute, and it can cause all sorts of problems. That actually would have gone through onto the target. Similar to a goal that Iraq scored against Australia in the Asian Cup 12 months ago.
Nashad Akram's delivery for Salih Sadir to put Schwarzer off.
It's the ones that come in straight that cause the keepers the most difficulty when they're being attacked by opponents.
A corner needlessly conceded by Qatar. Zheng Ji swings it in. Li Wei Feng combining with Han Peng, who's caught in possession by Soria. Sebastian Soria breaking from deep inside his own half, and that's cynical by Han Peng, who turns around and says, I'll cop the yellow ticket. Chinese coach Vladimir Petrovich was saying yesterday, we just have to stop Soria, he's the main threat. Han Peng has heard the coach's message.
He took them too much to heart because Syria wasn't, as much as he was heading towards goal, he wasn't a major threat, and there were Chinese opponents between him and the goal. It's a needless yellow card.
Definitely more urgency at the start of the second half from the hosts. Talal Al-Balushi it was, trying to get on the end of that one there, pushing forward from midfield, and Syria looks to have a spring in his step.
Qatar realise they need a result. They obviously would have seen how well the Iraqis played against Australia yesterday, and looking at even the possibility of the situation that may arise with Emerson and his current suspension, and maybe his the validity of the 3 points that Qatar earned against Iraq a couple of months ago. They need points. It would open the group up. It would give them a break on China and Iraq, and keep them in touch with us, bearing in mind that the top 2 in the group qualify. Doesn't matter what you get when you're second, as long as you come second. From Australia's point of view, we need to win the group and win it well. That makes a statement to the opponents of the next round. And Fasadi looks composed though, given it's not much beneath 40 degrees. Elegant in the navy blue jacket.
Tony's free kick found his fellow defender Mohammed. The header in, misdirected. Xiao Zhambo. Push off by Ibrahim Majid. A little clash of knees, which is never too pleasant. Xiao Zhambo elects to switch it up. I'm used to seeing those long balls fired in towards Han Peng. Tried something different, didn't come off. Hussein Yasser in a bit of space. Khalfan Ibrahim towered over by Li Wei-Fung. Hussein Yasser let it run to Majid. Good delivery too. Syria arriving at the back post. Sun Jiang had to be there to put him off.
Great build-up from the Qataris here. Great ball into the box, and Syria attacking at the back post.
Another chance. Khalfan Ibrahim getting the header this time on target.
Qatar are going to force the tempo of this match to rise, and the Chinese are going to have to go with them if they want to stay alive in this game.
Much more urgency in the passes than there were in the first half, that's for sure. Mesad Al-Hamed won the ball back and then gave it straight away to Zhao Haibin. Majid helps out. Spin on the ball helped Qatar there. Here's that header from Khalfan Ibrahim, smallest man on the pitch, somehow left alone. Bilal Mohammed pushing forward. Across comes Lee Wei-fung. He's once on the books of Everton, Lee Wei-fung. Only played 2 games for them though. One of those games, young bloke by the name of Wayne Rooney came off the bench to become Everton's youngest ever scorer in a League Cup game against Wrexham. So at least he's got that in his pocket from his short stint in England, Lee Wei-fung. Coney flighting it, looking for Hussein Yasser, who was offside anyway. Or was he?
No, I don't think he was. But given the outcome of the attempt, you'd wonder why the referee bothered to blow the whistle in the first place. Yasser wasn't interfering with play. I suppose that's where you get a lot of conjecture in the terraces and certainly amongst coaches and players, what actually is interfering with play.
See China preparing their first substitute. With 10 minutes gone here in the second half. I need to get Zheng Ji on the ball more. Here's Zhao Zhanbo linking with his captain.
Zheng Ji's got to want to get on the ball as well, and given the conditions, I don't think he's too fussed about that. That means more work. Another yellow card, I would imagine. No, he's off the hook.
He showed his willingness to work there. Zheng Ji tracking back and clipping at the heels of Hussein Yasser. Lu Jian is the man to come on. We saw him against the Socceroos. He was pretty ineffective throughout the 90 minutes though. Zhao Zhanbo makes way. And some fresh legs that China probably need at this stage. Qatar got more of a foothold on the game at the start of this second half. Bilal Mohammed closed down by Sun Ji-hai. There's Marconi Amaral switching it up to Saria. Got his wires crossed, wondering why the right winger was cutting in. And then finally, Fabio Cesar is about to make his entrance. This crowd waiting for something to happen, waiting for that opening goal. Zheng Ji misses his mark. Zheng Ji played more games than any other outfield player at Charlton last season in the championship. One of their players of the season, known as ZZ to the Addicts fans. 9 goals and 6 assists.
It's a fair effort when you think about it. You'd expect him plying his trade in the championship in England that he would be a little bit maybe more committed to the cause for his country. But also having, playing his career in England, it would be very difficult to come out of a long English winter and into these kind of conditions.
Saw a shake of the head from Kalfan Ibrahim. Disappointing night for the former Asian Footballer of the Year. Fabio Cesar is now on for Qatar. I'm sure the fans of Qatar in Australia and inside this stadium would be happy to see the number 11 on. These Chinese fans are making the most noise of all. around this stadium. Really was rocking for that game against Iraq, but
I think the local rivalry added a little bit more spice to that encounter. But it's, I was just surprised to hear the history between these two sides as well.
Sun Jiang to deliver the corner. Mohamed Shakir comes and didn't get the ball. Foul against Han Peng once more.
I think Han Peng's been a little bit unlucky. Generally, most of the time, he's legitimate with his attacks on the ball. Clash of heads there by the look of things. Nasty clash of heads, to be honest.
Bilal Muhammad coming off the worst for wear out of that collision. Han Peng looked like it was par for the course for him.
I don't know if they actually did clash their heads there. I think Bilal Muhammad's just a little bit more concerned. It maybe gave it more of a fright.
A late birthday present for Bilal Muhammad, who turned 22 yesterday. And Saad Al-Shamari among the substitutes, the captain from match day 1 against the Socceroos. It's Fabio Cesar's first touch. But you mentioned that history. They were grouped together on the road to France 98 as well. The 1-1 draw in Doha, followed by a 3-2 upset win by Qatar in China, which ultimately cost China second spot in that group. Here's Fabio Cesar. There's that cultured left boot.
But you can see immediately the relationship he has with Saria. It's the first time Saria's got into the front half of the goals, and all of his other attempts with the headers have always been in the back half of the goals. So an immediate impact the substitute has made.
He'll deliver again from the corner, all the way through to Mesad Al-Hamed. Saria kept onside. Sun Jiang forced to concede another corner. Confidence has just risen again with the entrance of Fabio Cesar. And he's gone across to the other side as well. He's got experience in Serie A. And the delivery punched away by Song Zhenyu. He's already got a yellow card for time wasting, and didn't look like there was much of a collision there, but he'll milk the clock again.
He copped a little bit of an elbow on the way down here, but nothing intentional from Saria. A legitimate opportunity, I suppose, to make the most of the rest.
As the pressure is being applied, 3 straight corners. Syrian referee letting the Qatari team know that he's adding all this time on. There was a connection, but I'm not sure how he can stay down for a minute after that.
The thing you need to be careful of, statistics show that the longer you're in a defensive situation for, the more chance you've got of losing concentration. 2 corners back to back. This is the 3rd, and his teammates standing around waiting for all this to happen.
And he looks as fresh as a daisy now as he waits for Cesar's delivery. Headed down. Coney claiming there was a handball against his marker. It was all pretty quick. Tough to pick up on that replay. There's another look at it. Han Peng led with the elbow.
Maybe it was a legitimate claim, but very difficult for the referee to see that one, though.
Fabio Cesar in space. Looks for Soria. Breaks for the naturalised Uruguayan. China can clear, though. Nice skill from Zheng Ji. Trying to link with Han Peng.
It's a great touch play, Zheng Ji.
Lost out in the end, though. And Qatar can counter. Cesar has Mesad Al-Hamad unmarked. Didn't see him on the right. Perhaps Soria conscious. And there's the disappointed man. Al-Hamad ignored out there on the right. Fasati says he's been trying to preach a team ethic, not to concentrate on the wonderful individuals they have, but play more as a team. Here's another look at that penalty claim. Abdullah Kone saw it strike the elbow of Han Peng, not the referee. Qatar latching onto all those second balls as well. Ibrahim Majed that time winning the free kick, taken quickly. Hussein Yasser this time sees Mesad Al-Hamad. Does well to keep it in.
Made life difficult for his teammate, though. The pass was a little bit awry. Wasted opportunity for Qatar. They've had a good spell of pressure here. Got the Chinese on the back foot at the moment. They need to maintain possession, especially in the front third of the pitch. Keep the Chinese working.
That's a better ball to Mesad Al-Hamad. Zheng Ji found his teammate. Xu Ting winning the free kick. It's got to come all the way back to where Xu Ting was fouled. Xu Ting's on the books of Dalian Shide, who Vladimir Petrovic coached to the double back in 2005, so he's well aware of Xu Ting's talents. And the youngster is down now. He's part of the Olympic team as well, Xu Ting, who have the home nation behind them. And the Beijing Olympics kick off in August. Unlike the goalkeeper, he's back to his feet without requiring treatment. Rishk looking for Fabio Cesar.
Cesar certainly added some bite to this Qatari attack. It was a great run in between defenders, and Rishk did well to pick him out there. China's a little bit fortunate that he didn't get a touch on it.
It was nice passing again by the Chinese until the final ball from the captain. Slow hand clap starts to go around the Al Sadd Stadium. Sun Jiang found Han Peng down the middle. Han Peng tipped away by Mohamed Sakur. But what on earth happened to Abdullah Kone? Is he distressed? Well, we don't like seeing this at all. There's real concern here.
Looks like he's dislocated his shoulder in the fall. Can't think of anything else that could have done it, unless he had the joint opened up on the way through in a collision with the player. Very painful injury. He's obviously got shoulder problems. You look at, there was no contact with anybody, and he's, as I said, obviously got got problems from the past somewhere, and I know what it's like because I've had it happen to me. It is pretty painful. It's either going to have to get it put back in now, either do it himself or get someone to help him do it, because he won't be able to take any further part in the game with his arm like that.
It's a great chance in the end for Han Peng, though, to open the scoring. He wasn't hanging around to see what was wrong with Abdullah Koning, and Sakir had to tip it away for the corner. Of course, we had the story in the last A-League season of Danny Tiato doing his Mel Gibson impersonations from Lethal Weapon and smacking his shoulder back in. And
in some cases, they'll just slide back in by themselves, but when it actually happens, it just raises the hairs and it brings a tear to your eye.
I'm glad it's his shoulder that was the problem. I thought in these oppressive conditions it might have been something else. Thankfully it wasn't. Sun Jiang delivers. Han Peng almost ducked his head out of the way. I'm not sure why. He had
great opportunity for the Chinese there, Brent. I mean, they were actually in behind despite Coney's shoulder popping out. They had nothing to do with the situation that had arisen, and a little bit more urgency or composure there with the the Qatari defender diving in like that. The striker could have just pulled that ball back inside and left himself in a one-on-one situation. It's easy from here, though.
So 20 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. It's the result the Socceroos will be very happy to see. A draw here in Doha. And there's a few more twists to come in this last 20 minutes, you sense.
Been a few flurries of activity, but nothing that really makes me think this isn't going to finish the way it stands at the moment.
Fasadi hoping that Syed Al-Bashir can change that. He's preparing the striker, who's a real physical presence, to make his appearance. He's looked a little bit like an NFL running back, and Mesad Al-Hamad makes way, who's had a frustrating night out there on the right. And Syed Bashir will go forward and probably form a front two now with Saria. Zhang Yao Kun down with cramp now, conveniently falling into the field of play. Zheng Ji works it well. Just couldn't quite fire a ball in there. Lu Jian, the substitute. Zhang Yao Kun has now recovered. Long throw, not past Saria.
When you look at the achievements of the Japanese and the Koreans, the South Koreans in particular, you know, given the length of time that China have had a professional league in place, you'd have to say they're at risk of causing a diplomatic furor that they've been the underachievers of Asia, to be honest. We played a lot of games against China, the Australians. I remember playing back in the 80s in tournaments in Singapore, and they actually beat us in one game. They caused us all sorts of problems, but they've never really been consistent in terms of their application to the game.
Syed Bashir trying to cause some nuisance there, but you're right, they are known as the great underachievers of Asian football. Only once to the World Cup back in 2002, where they failed to win a point in a group with Costa Rica, Turkey and Brazil.
Very capable players though, as individuals. I think they lack the discipline of their local rivals. Now, God help us all if they can ever get a development system in place like we have here in Australia with the numbers that they've got to call on. What a production line of players they could produce.
And you can see what hosting an Olympic Games can do as well. A lot of youngsters, a pretty handy Olympic team put together, that they've all those youngsters striving to be part of an Olympic Games, of course, and maybe we will see the follow-on effect in the coming years. Here's Bashir trying to get on the end of it.
I think you'll see more and more long balls from the Qataris in this last 15 minutes, especially first time I've seen Bashir in action, and he looks like he could be a handful. Be a bit of the old English stick it in the mixer system. And let's battle away and see if we can pick up some crumbs.
More and more theatrical on the sideline, Jorge Fossati. Still not dispensing with the suit jacket though. And Peng again. Peng for a tug on the shirt.
That's a harsh decision, to be honest. I mean, you put your arms out across a play, obviously, you know, you're going to make contact. It certainly didn't stop the Qatari from competing or even winning the ball.
Bilal Muhammad wins another corner off Sun Jiang. He's conceded plenty tonight, the left back. And referee coming all the way over to chat to his assistant, and he might have to deal with someone on the bench. Is someone going to get sent to the stands here? One of the Chinese support staff has been a little bit too vocal in his criticism of the officials, and he's been told to take a back seat.
Would have been interested to find out how the assistant referee knew what was said.
Fabio Cesar delivers. Headed clear to Wessam Rishk. Here's Hussein Yasser.
Haven't seen much of Yasser in this second half, and in particular since Fabio Cesar was brought into the action, and Yasser had to take a more central role.
Foul given against Hussein Yasser in the end, jumping all over Xu Ting. Abdullah Kony with the clearance, still feeling for that shoulder. Petrovic just trying to work out whether one of his players is ready to come off, whether he's out on his feet completely.
The Chinese at times do look distressed with the conditions that are there.
Confirmation that the player in question is okay to continue. Zhang Yao Kun all the way down the line. Free kick given against Xu Ting.
Maybe it was even Zheng Ji. I think he actually used his body to great effect here. It's a bit of a block. It was Xu Ting.
Said Al-Bashir a little too physical there on Wang Zhao as the whistles start to ramp up again.
34 fouls in the match so far. It's we've still got 12 minutes to go as well. A little bit more desperation in these dying moments of the game. The team's trying to achieve something, and referee could have a field day.
Li Wei-fung will want to get on with it here. The referee counting the seconds. He's already given a yellow card to the goalkeeper for time wasting. It's Fabio Cesar looking for runners. Said Bashir holding it up. It's a nice switch of play, but Abdullah Koni failed to control it. The impetus just lost as they tried to switch it up and head down the right. Breaks for Said Al-Bashir though. Puts Saria into the space in the corner. Li Wei-fung makes his way out. No free kick against the centre half. Perhaps a chance for a counter. Not sure where that bottle came from. Lucky it missed the Chinese player. Otherwise we might have had an incident here.
Certainly wasn't a foul on behalf of the Chinese defender. I think Saria set the situation up to and attempted to make the most of it. Sort of an offside flag up there for sure.
Frustrating for the local fans. Bashir had the chance to look right across the line. Here's a look at that incident you speak of. Saria would probably get that decision in the local Q League here, where he scored 17 of Qatar Sports Club's 35 goals in the last campaign. He's the hot man as well, with 6 goals in his last 5 internationals, but hasn't really got a gilt-edged chance so far tonight. But there's still time. Mu Jian stays down this time. Bilal Muhammad just following through, and there's players down all over the place.
I think that one was a legitimate clash of knees. I think Muhammad's down in the background as well. But it is that stage of the game where the players would really be starting to feel the pinch now.
Of course, they've got to back it up in 5 days' time in Tianjin, back in China. The same 2 teams will go around. How precious a goal would be in the final 8 minutes plus stoppage time here. If either team could lead with 3 points, it would be huge in Group 1. Leave them outright second behind Australia. They're on 7 points, of course. Qatar came into this game on 3, China on 2. And Chu Bo, a veteran striker, being prepared for China. Here's Han Peng. All pretty scrappy. The free kick goes to Qatar.
25 fouls against the Chinese. It's a lot of frustration built up there. A lot of things to put up with.
Hussein Yasser gets onto the second ball, blocked by Li Wei-fung.
The Chinese have been great on the edge of their penalty area. They've really locked up the danger zone tonight, and Qatar haven't been able to get in to those areas where they found space a lot against Iraq back in March. Made it very, very difficult. The back 4 defenders for China have played exceptionally well.
So both teams preparing strikers to come on for the closing stages here. Here's a chance. Sakur advances, goes with the feet. Interesting technique from the goalkeeper.
Dangerous technique from the goalkeeper.
He's got the ability to use his hands, but
He didn't need to be out there, but I think once he'd committed himself, he decided to keep going.
Zhao Haibin, the latest player into the book for that foul on Fabio Cesar. And Han Peng, another of the players who's gone into the book, makes way for Chubo, who does boast the goal against Qatar in a World Cup qualifier back in 2001.
That is a tough call.
Huge call against Li Weifeng. Look at the position for Qatar. A real lifeline here. Wry smiles on the Chinese bench and from the Chinese players as well.
There was an arm up, but I don't know if it's for the elbow or the ball came off the hand, but his arm's up on both sides of the equation.
Well, at last year's Asian Cup, Sebastian Soria scored from a similar position, bursting one through the wall, a Japanese wall on that occasion. Now it's a wall of China standing in the road. Fabio Cesar is there as well. Fessam Rishk. Soria is not over the ball. That's a surprise. He really does pack a punch. And it's going to be Fabio Cesar to try and curl one and pick out a top corner.
Referee's upset him there by moving the ball back. Only one circumference, but it was enough.
The crowd expectant. Can Fabio Cesar find a way through? Cesar. That's disappointing. Given a wonderful position by the referee's decision. And it was never going to dip in. Sometimes you're too close.
Yeah, well, I think in this situation he was, but at the end it wasn't a bad effort. Not that far wide, certainly in comparison to a lot of other free kicks I've seen at all levels of the game.
Hussein Yasser rides a challenge. Zhao Haibin tidies up in midfield for China.
Ooh, a good touch there, and China could have caused some problems then.
Soria tracks it down. Nice skill as well. Bashir waits in the middle. Free header. Bashir off the crossbar. Soria comes in. Great save in the end. Did enough, Song Zhen-yu, to get it out of the danger zone. But that was the moment.
It's a great header from Bashir. The ball was behind him. Did well to get hit on target and with power.
It's a Chinese player down, so predictably they put the ball out of play. And that was the moment the Qatari fans and Jorge Fossati had waited for. I'm sure Bashir thought it was going to end up in the back of the net too.
Keeper did well to stay alive there. I wonder if Bashir was actually offside there. He came back from an offside position.
It was tight, and as you say, that hand from the goalkeeper was very handy with Fabio Cesar waiting in the middle. Qatar make their final change. Yusuf Ali on for Talal Al-Balushi, who's been a workhorse in midfield. Qatar giving the ball back to China. Good sportsmanship in the 90th minute when they're desperate for a winner. China make their final substitution as well. Wu Hao coming on for Sun Jihai. Came closest for China in the first half with a shot that just went wide. Hussein Yasser trying to find a teammate, asking a lot of the substitute, Yusuf Ali. Five minutes of stoppage time to be played here. Still plenty of time for a winner at either end. Is there a sucker punch? Disappointing control from Xu Ting. Of course, it's a valid 5 minutes after Song Zhenyu stayed down for quite some time, the goalkeeper, earlier in the half. So the referee said he was adding all this time on. Another perplexing free kick given against China. Xu Ting thought he'd worked the body well. Where is the urgency from Qatar?
Very hard to be urgent in some respects when you've got 11 men behind the ball to try and play against. You need to keep it moving, but in a patient way as well, not trying to force play.
And here they go on the break. Chu Bo. Where's the support? Finds it from Sheng Ji. Zhao Haibin arriving.
Just overdid that there. Great situation for the Chinese to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Well played by Bashir. Li Wei-Feng.
That will go against the Chinese defender, I would imagine. He's had a good game tonight, Li Wei-Feng. Been very, very solid. Good competitor.
Fabio Cesar, good spot for a left-footer to swing one in. Clearance by Zhao Yao Kun. No free kick to China. Sun Jiang trying to milk one. Good ball into Song Zhenyu off his line. Halfway through stoppage time here in Doha. A good result as it stands for the Socceroos. Just needed any sort of flick on it. A substitute for China. He did well there. Wu Hao. Zhao Haibin allowed to surge forward down the right. No real pressure. Still managed to fire it into Majed. Vladimir Petrovic, who played 22 games for Arsenal back in 1982 and 83. Here's a chance. Straight into the Qatari defenders from Chubo. Li Wei-feng will surely get his reward this time. And Petrovic on the books of Arsenal back in 82-83, just missed him by a couple of years, John.
Yeah, the name rang a bell, but I wasn't sure if it was the same one. It's not an uncommon name. But, yeah, I was gone 3 years before that, maybe 2 or 3.
He's a Red Star Belgrade legend as well, made 500 starts for them. More time wasting punished. Wu Hao in the book this time. Fabio Zazar flicks it on. Here's the final chance. Yusuf Ali taking on Li Wei-feng inside the area. He's got Saria, just rolls it to the feet of Saria. Good, strong take from Song Zhenyu. Had Said Bashir closing in. Good safe hands from the keeper. And the 5 minutes are up. Is the referee adding another 30 seconds for that time wasting? Saria just couldn't quite knot it down into the path of Bashir. And that is full time in Doha. It finishes 0-0. A good result for the Socceroos and a good result for China as well. They're pretty happy. They're on 3 points now. Qatar are on 4, but China will fancy getting 3 points off Qatar when they meet them at home next weekend in Tianjin. But at full time here in Doha, it finishes Qatar 0, China 0. And on behalf of John Cosmina, this is Brenton Speed saying goodbye for now.
Fox Sports production.